Hello, my name is Eric Walker. I work at Orchard's Family Success Center as the Volunteer and Community Partnership Coordinator. This week we've got another STEM project for you. This one we're going to be making a cloud in a jar. Now at the center we had a bunch of supplies. Again, if you didn't get to the center or it's later you're seeing this, feel free to give us a call. We might still have some supplies. Also, it's not that many supplies you're going to need to pick up. A few of them are optional, which we'll get into. But if you did go to the center, you'll see that we have a mason jar with the lid, some hairspray, just make sure it's the spray kind, not any other kind of stuff you might put in your hair, and an ice cube tray. Now, the optional part is the blue dye. Feel free to put this in if you'd like. I'm going to do it ahead of time. I'm going to pour it in mine early. Not a lot, just a little bit. And I did this project earlier to make sure it worked, so there's not as much dye left for me. But if you have it, feel free to use it. I'm going to give that a second to get all the way down. If you notice, my sidekick, Theo, aka Spider-Man, aka Hulk, which he was going to be today, is not here because this one's a little hot and it's hard to shoot a video with him in it, but we are going to do this together hopefully in a little bit where I can show him. I do want to give you a heads up that these jars are going to get very hot for what we have to do, so do be careful, watch your hands, we don't want anyone to get burnt. It's always important to have parents around when you're doing these things, or adult that can supervise. I'll leave that up to you to finding who that is. But we're going to get started. So what we need to do, we need to boil water. I already did this, so this is very hot. You can see, I think, some of the steam coming off of it, which is good. We need that. So I'm going to put this back on. So make sure you boil your water. It only took me about 7 minutes. I'm going to get a little warmer. That way it really gets the effect going. And make sure you fill your ice tray with water and put it in your freezer. My freezer's right over here. But I already did that part. If you didn't, feel free to pause the video, get that all done, and then we'll come back. But if you are all set, we're going to add the ingredients. It's going to have to be done very quickly. So what you're going to do is you're going to pour in the water about halfway, and then you're going to spray the hairspray inside with the water, and then close it quickly with the cap. You're going to put a few pieces of ice, as many as you can fit, on top of this, and you're going to wait a few minutes to let it do its magic. And it's going to create a cloud in a jar. So let's get ready to go. I got all my supplies. Ice is off screen. Everything else should be up here that we need. I'll turn my water off. Nice and hot. I'm going to be very careful. Don't want to burn myself. Ooh, and it turned blue right away, which I think gives it a really cool effect. So I filled it about halfway. I'm going to shake this up. Going to spray as much as I can in there. Then I'm going to close the lid quickly. I'm going to touch the top of it, not the bottom, because I don't want to burn myself. Then I'm going to take my few pieces of ice, and I'm going to throw them on top right here. Now I'm going to pause the video at this point, and we're going to come back in a second to see what happened, which you can already see a little bit. Let me adjust the screen for you. That it's the vapor from the hairspray and all the heat, it's rising, and the ice is making it cool right there, so it's connecting, just like a cloud does up in the sky. In the sky, it gets really high, and then it gets colder, and it starts to group together, and it latches on to like ash particles and dust and all of that stuff. We don't have that in a small area, so we're using this for the water to connect to when it gets colder. But I'm going to pause it, and we're going to check in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. I waited 3-4 minutes, and as you can see, all of the steam is in there, and it looks like a cloud. Now, after a little while, it's going to start to go away. So before that happens, make sure you take off your ice cubes, spin off the lid, and let the cloud escape. But if you want, feel free to watch it and watch it do its thing, because it's really neat the way it works. And oh, it's starting to disappear. I don't know if you can see it, but it's disappearing because it went and it got really hot, and then as the steam got up high, the ice melted it and it connected to the hairspray, and then over time it goes back down just like the water does in the air and the way we have clouds and rain. So I hope you had lots of fun doing this project. If it doesn't work for you the first time, that's okay. It took me a few tries, and I think it's fun to try different amounts of water, different amounts of spray, different amounts of ice up top, because you'll get a different effect each time. If you do less, it might take longer for the cloud to form. If you do more water, the cloud's smaller, so it doesn't last as long. But if you do less water, the cloud lasts a lot longer. So I hope you had fun doing this project. If you have any questions, if you're having any issues with it, feel free to call the center or email us. And as always, we're still here, we're still around, we still care about you. So we hope you're safe, we hope you're doing well, and we look forward to seeing you when you get back.